Let's talk about the challenge of building a business and how people are succeeding and how people are struggling with the current dynamic. Because I think you really nailed it.
There's an interesting distinction here between an audience and a community. There are many, many people who have an audience, and an audience is certainly a thing to build and to hold, but it is also a thing that can be bought. Advertising is traditionally the game of aggregating audience, buying audience, brokering attention. I think the transition we're seeing today in the world is actually this transition away from audiences to communities. The unit economics are sort of changing. Clicks and things like that may have been useful. They were the metrics of choice when we were in an attention-based economy. Now we're moving to a relation-based economy, which is why community is the better descriptor of sort of the container. A community is a container of relationships between individuals with a shared passion versus an audience, which is just a segment of people looking in the same direction. They may or may not have relationships or forces that connect them, right? That parallel play is so appropriate of a term for an audience-oriented world, but very different for a community, because a community is all about the interaction models and the crossover that is actually happening amongst the participants versus the other side. So as a result, the fundamentally very difficult transition that we're seeing right now is that a lot of folks used to think that the audience was a community, but only the ones who actually did the work to make that community a community were actually the ones who built communities. So for example, you may have an audience, but if you want to sell intimacy or other kinds of access to you and things like that, you haven't built that relationship, that trust yet to sort of be in that position. Most YouTubers, you watch them, what do they say? 80% of you aren't subscribed. Every channel says the same thing. How is that? Because there's not a relationship that exists there. There's something sort of maybe serendipitous. There's an algorithmic thing, but there's not a relationship.